true paranormal story. Nobody's ever gonna believe this. What the heck did I just see? I started seeing ghosts when I was only 8 years old. I saw that boy disappear. This isn't real. Welcome to the Raker'z Dozen. Raker'z Dozen. Welcome back to another episode of the Raker'z Dozen, a true paranormal story podcast. I wanted to thank you for listening to the show, and if you're new here, welcome to your new paranormal home. I can't believe we're already on episode number 4, and this story is a good one. Let me ask you guys, have you ever seen an apparition? I'm always curious about what other people's experiences were like seeing a ghost for the first time. Well, today you're going to hear my first experience seeing a physical presence in my buddy's house. Just another story from La Docena Lane where I grew up. So get comfortable, relax, and get ready for a story that changed my life. And just as a reminder, if you have a paranormal story that you'd like to share, please email me at therakersdozen@gmail.com. Now let's get into it. This is another story about what I experienced at my buddy's home. Like I mentioned in a previous episode, he lived up the street from me. We've known each other since the 2nd grade, I believe. And we are still friends almost 38 years later. But I did want to mention his house began feeling a little darker and darker as the years passed by. More and more incidents started happening to me. It's almost like the house recognized that I felt something was off inside of it. And the spirits and other darker entities began showing themselves more and more as the years rolled by. It started with maybe once or twice a year I would experience something. And within 7 years, it was happening monthly and even weekly sometimes. But I wanted to share the first time I physically saw a spirit in his home. So let me share, I was absolutely a skeptic. And in many ways, I still am. But I do feel this experience was the one that opened doors and emboldened other spirits in that home to show themselves to me. I can't tell you why or how I know this, only that the frequency of experiences seemed to escalate after seeing the boy in red. So here we go. It was a typical Friday night of a 12-year-old in the 90s. Chips, snacks, video games, music, watching horror films, and stealing some beers from my friend's dad as he left for work. Those were the days. No responsibility. On this night, we were up late watching some horror films. I don't remember which one. More than likely, it was like the original Amityville or something like that. On a side note, we used to be able to get rated R horror flicks at the local Video Galaxy down the street in Santa Fe Springs. The owner's son always hooked us up. I can say that now because we all know what happened to the video stores. Damn you, Netflix. It was about 11:30 p.m. and we were hanging out in the living room. My friend's mom already went to bed and everyone else in the house was asleep. My buddy asked me if I could check the calendar next to the kitchen and see if he had a dental visit the next morning. I had to take a leak anyway, so I just got up, talked some crap as young men do, and walked up the 2 steps leading towards the dining area, right next to the kitchen. So I made it to the kitchen, looked at the calendar, and then noticed that he didn't have an appointment scheduled the next morning. But before I had a chance to yell out that he didn't have an appointment, I noticed some movement in my peripheral vision to the right of me. You know that feeling when you can see something even though you're not looking directly at it? And so I whipped my head to the right quickly, and for a brief second, I saw a young boy standing there in my buddy's bedroom door. He looked like he was about 7 or 8 years old, wearing a bright red shirt and blue jeans. And when I blinked, he was gone. I felt my heart start beating really fast. Something I've learned to recognize as my body telling me something's wrong or off. Still confused, I began walking towards my friend's bedroom looking for the child. My friend yelled out, "Do I have an appointment tomorrow or what?" And it kind of snapped me out of the trance that I was in. Still looking around for the boy in red, I walked downstairs back into the living room. He asked me again if he had an appointment, and I responded, "No." I could feel that moment playing over and over in my head, just trying to rationalize what the hell did I just see? I finally told my buddy, I just saw a little boy wearing a red shirt near your room. He started laughing at me, telling me I'm buzzed and I don't know what I'm talking about. And even I thought maybe those 2 beers I drank had me seeing things, but wait, I know what I saw. It was getting late, so we just decided to go to bed for the night. He went to his room and I slept on the couch in the living room. It was about 3 a.m. when I woke up. I needed to use the restroom really bad. But I felt like someone was watching me. You know that feeling, something just isn't right? When I glanced towards my buddy's room, and I saw him. The same boy in red was leaning on the banister, staring at me. Almost like a tired child doing homework at a table and falling asleep laying on their hands. I sat up quickly, and he was gone. Once again, my heart was racing. I got up and looked for the little boy, but he was gone. Eventually, I sat back down on the couch for the first time, feeling scared. What's happening to me? Am I losing my mind? Seeing the same boy twice in the same night wasn't some trick of light, or the result of 2 beers when I saw him 3 to 4 hours apart. I felt like the house was alive or something, that's trying to tell me something. The following morning, I told my friend about what happened, and you guessed it, he just laughed. He told me I'm just seeing things that aren't real. And after talking with his sister later on, I found out that she experienced so many things in that house. And over the next 7 years, I continued experiencing strange things in that home. But I never saw that little boy again. Seeing the boy in red rattled me. Seeing an apparition for the first time is scary enough, but for it to be a little boy. I remember asking his family if a little boy ever died there, but they didn't really know. And back then in the 90s, the internet was still relatively new, so there wasn't a quick way to just do a Google search. And I eventually just let it go. Story number 2. Okay, so here's another story that happened in my friend's house where I saw the boy in red. This story took place about a year later after that experience. Things kind of settled down, and although I still had some strange experiences, they were always small things. You know, like the usual things getting moved or noises or sounds in the house. Nothing notable or even worth mentioning. But on this day, that changed. It was 1991, and every moment I wasn't in school, I was at my buddy's house, even during the week. So I was always there. But on some weekends, we rode the bus to the Santa Fe Springs Mall, which, by the way, doesn't exist anymore. But just like the kids in the 90s, we'd head to the mall and hang out, play some Street Fighter 2 at the arcade, grab some food, and do what they now call people watching. Ah, to be young again. It was a Saturday morning and we planned to go to the mall. I got up early, walked up the street to my buddy's house, and I used to just knock on the door and walk in, and so I did. When I walked inside the house, it was quiet. Eerily quiet. I mean, there was always TVs on and music playing or kids running around. I mean, always. But today, the house was absolutely quiet, which I found strange. I said, "Hello?" But nobody responded. As I walked in, I could hear the shower running, so I decided to sit down in the living room and just wait for him to get ready, so we can head out later on. And of course, I helped myself to some chips and soda while waiting. All the blinds were closed, so the living room was really dark. They're normally open during the day, and then his family closes them at night. I guess no one opened them this morning. I started looking around for the remote so I can watch some TV. And from behind me, I heard footsteps running from the front door directly into the kitchen. I quickly whipped around, startled, expecting to see one of my buddy's nephews, but no one was there. Just like before, I felt my heartbeat quicken. I could feel it pounding in my chest. I slowly started walking up the steps into the dining area cautiously. I nervously said, "Is somebody here? Is somebody here?" Nobody responded. I took a few more steps, getting closer to the kitchen, and now my heart is pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I slowly stepped into the kitchen, and nobody was there. Freaked out, I knocked on the bathroom door, still hearing the shower running. My buddy yelled, "What? I'm in the shower." And so I replied, "Hey, did you get out of the shower and walk to the kitchen right now?" And being my best friend, he responded with, "I'm in the effing shower. How the hell would I get out and walk to the kitchen? I'll be done in a few minutes. Just then, the thought occurred to me. Maybe his older sister is home and I just didn't realize it. So I walked down the hall and knocked on her door and waited. No response. And so I knocked again, and I finally decided to open the door slowly. Yep, and you guessed it, nobody was there. So I closed the door and decided to head back to the living room. By now I'm just rationalizing that I probably just heard the house settling or some other ridiculous excuse. And so I walked down the stairs into the living room and sat down on the couch. I say, F it, I'm just gonna watch TV while I wait for my buddy. And just then, I hear the footsteps run from the kitchen right back to the front door. I jump up and run to the front door, searching for who the hell just ran in the house again. But there was no one. By now, I'm freaking the F out. Just as I was about to leave the house and just go home, my buddy comes out of the shower, dressed, and asks what's going on. Like I'm fumbling with my words, and I must have sounded like I was going crazy. I said, "Someone ran from the front door to the kitchen, and then just a few minutes later, it ran from the kitchen right back to the front door." He started laughing at me and making fun of me. He said, "Bro, let me put my shoes on, and let's just get out of here and head to the mall." And so we did. But for the rest of the day, I couldn't let it go. The sound of the footsteps just bothered me. I'm pretty sure that it was a child's footsteps. Don't ask me how I know. They sounded lighter, not as heavy. And I asked myself, was it the boy in red? Was it another spirit? Honestly, I never found out. And I never heard them again. But I could still hear those footsteps in my dreams. Ah, man, it feels like yesterday when hearing those footsteps chilled me to the core. I sometimes wonder, why me? Why did that house choose to keep messing with me and no one else? I genuinely feel that once the door was open, whatever was in that house made themselves known to me openly. But as much as it should have scared me, I found myself becoming more and more defiant by refusing to let it. And maybe that's why more and more things happened over the years. I wouldn't allow it to scare me. So thanks for listening. Let me know which one of these stories was your favorite. Has anyone else ever experienced something like this? Let me know. And don't forget to follow us on social media like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We are just getting off the ground, so please show some support. The links are in the description. I'm hoping to do some live streams in the future, so if there's a topic you'd like to discuss, let me know in the comments. If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a 5-star review and help us grow the show so other people who love the paranormal can find our show. And if you're on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for listening. to the Raker'z Dozen, a true paranormal story podcast.